Should you even live in Rochester, New York? Well, let's talk about it. Today, I'm covering the 13 most unexpected things about living in Rochester that no one actually talks about. There are certain neighborhoods that everyone is flocking to. There's other areas where people just don't want to go. And ultimately, there's some things with schools that absolutely play a massive affluent role here in Rochester. I'll tell you this, all 13 of these things you're not going to hear about in any travel brochure. So let's talk about the 13 things that you got to know while living in Rochester. Roll me. What's up, guys? We got here your favorite realtor's favorite realtor. And one of the main things about Rochester, New York that's so unique is the fact our seasonality isn't just snow, it's actually an economic landscape. And the first three things I want to talk to you about is that economic landscape. The main thing is we average over 100 inches of snow per year, but at the same time, it's definitely manageable compared to other markets. The city actually handles the snow really well, and we have infrastructure in place to make it so that anything happens, you're good. And it's actually activities that you can enjoy, from ice skating to skiing and winter festival activities that exist here. It's actually more of a celebratory thing than anything else. And our homes, they're actually built in a way that they're managing all the snow that's happening. In other markets, if snow happens, then the house is kind of out of luck. The second thing combining with this is all four seasons have their own affluence, meaning this. In the springtime, you've got the Lilac Festival. You've also got tons of rain, but it's also beautiful in nature and seeing everything blossom. In the summertime, you got 75 to 80 degree weather. It's cool. It's nothing crazy compared to Arizona, Texas, and other markets, but you're definitely going to feel the heat a little bit. And then in the fall, you've got fall foliage. You've got the beautiful, beautiful trees as they start ripping down themselves and getting ready for winter. And then winter, you've got all those activities that we talked about. All four seasons have their own beautification and nature. And if you just want one thing, then this is not the place for you. But if you're willing to accept the fact that you get all these things happening together, then yeah, Rochester's where you belong. Combining with this, you got over 12,000 acres of parkland, over 100 miles of trails connecting between cities and cities, 7 major water bodies for kayaking, riding in the water, swimming, and you got all four seasons to go with this. One of the things that I just don't think people talk about is how Rochester is designed to actually incorporate all four seasons into our livelihood, then ultimately make it so that we can actually enjoy those things. Let's also talk about the 3 critical things that affects Rochester's landscape from an economic standpoint. One of the big things is obviously going to be housing costs. Our median price point hovers around the $205,000 to $210,000 range, whereas nationally that number gets up to be $400,000. I read somewhere statistically that almost half of the first-time home buyers have to pay over $1 million for a house. Whoa. We've also got historic homes in places like Park Avenue and some historic districts in East Avenue that the home prices can actually get up to the more expensive $500,000, $600,000, even $700,000. Whereas waterfront properties and new build properties in these waterfront areas, whether they be very, very limited, can get up to the multi-million-dollar price range. Property taxes can also vary drastically just purely by municipalities alone. A 5-minute drive could theoretically mean a 40% decrease or increase in property value. And then combining with this, the fifth thing that you got to understand is all of these economics are actually location based. Here's what I mean. There's definitely specific areas in the city where it's gentrifying more, and there's other areas that it's still up and coming. There's neighborhoods that you can get homes in the $250,000, $300,000 price range where you're still close enough to every single thing. And in specific suburban areas like Pittsford, Brighton, Webster, you're there for the school and for the fact that other people can afford Pittsford, Brighton, and Webster. You got to take all these things into account. There's definitely more value-based neighborhoods, and there's also more education-based neighborhoods. I think those two factors are the biggest non sequiturs, especially when you're purchasing anything. On top of both those things, one of the big things that I look for is number one, the Starbucks effect, or how closely Starbucks is building to anything. And also number two is the neighborhood proximity effect, meaning what your neighbors enjoy doing, what are your neighborhoods like in terms of safety, in terms of actual accessibility to food, restaurants, hospitals, parks, the whole shebang. No, I'm not saying live here, I'm not saying live there. What I am saying is, for the most part, people that are looking to relocate to Rochester, which is a lot of our clientele, you guys are coming here because you want good schools. You want maybe a summer home, or you're looking for an area that you can just call and rest. That's what the video is for. And that's why it's so important that you understand all the differences in the neighborhoods and the nuances behind everything. This combines with another factor as well, which is the actual income to debt ratio. You see, most people that work in Rochester, New York aren't going to get paid the same amount as people that work in bigger metros. But this actually is statistically a good thing. You see, with cost of living being 20 to 30% cheaper than other areas, most people can actually afford to purchase a property 5 to 10 years before the average person buys a house in a larger metro. It's a pretty cool thing when you think about it, but at the same time, you also have to incorporate the housing market as of right now. As of May, June, July 2025 and 2026, it's crazy. People are buying houses left and right. There's no option for first-time homebuyers, and things that are sitting on the market are absolutely bad. There's a reason that people hire our team to get the job done. It's because we understand what's happening in the market. It's because we know and have those local connections, and ultimately we have access to properties that other people simply don't, based off of our database and based off of our clientele. Remember, there's 4 groups of people that are looking to purchase a property. People that you know that are actively looking, people that you know that aren't actively looking, people that you don't know that are actively looking, and people that you don't know that aren't actively looking. Outside of these 4 boxes, there's really nothing else, and you're probably fitting yourself into one of these sections. If you are, give our team a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, whatever you want to do, so we can game plan the success for you making this place your home. There's a lot that's happening in Rochester, and let me tell you, most people, they're not getting the first, second, or even third offer accepted, and you got to make sure you know exactly how to strategically write it, and you're working with the person that understands local market conditions. You see, outside of just the season and the income and everything else, there's also festivals that I don't see anywhere else. Let me tell you, we have everything. We have over 140 festivals per year in Rochester. Obviously got the Jazz Festival, you've got the Lilac Festival, and you've got neighborhood-specific celebrations happening almost every weekend. One of the best things is the international global circuit is always bringing top performers here. I think it was like last week or something where Shane Gills, the comedian, was performing either here or in Buffalo. It was one of those 2 locations. Combining with all these things, what's important for me is the food. I like to bodybuild, meaning I gotta eat a lot. And hey, there's always something to do. From the hot plates, the garbage plates, and every other kind of plate that you can actually think of, we've got that here. And compared to other major metros, I am actually willing to argue that Rochester's food scene is better than most other places. Why? I think it's kind of an amalgamation of everyone. We are a melting pot of different cultures, different identities, everyone making Rochester home. And that's super sick. My favorite things to do is just go to the public market. I get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 1, usually it's a great spot to take a date. And number 2, I get to shop there for the week. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And from places like Park Ave, South Wedge, to even those specific suburban areas, there's always something to eat in these distinct locations. Whether you're looking for Ethiopian food, Nepali food, any other kind of food to exist, Rochester probably has it. The big things that I didn't realize about Rochester, even after I've lived here for such a long time, is our art scenes. You see, we had a client of ours reach out all the way from Washington, and what she told us was, I want to be engulfed in art. She loved to paint. And I said, let's find you some properties, let's find you some areas that's similar to what specifically you're looking for. One of the areas that we found that she loved was the East Avenue area, and this was amazing for a few reasons. Number 1 was its proximity to the Eastman School of Music. World-class, literally world-class players and some of the best scenes you'll see. Number 2 was its proximity to the Memorial Art Gallery. Rotating arts from different artists, it was awesome and she loved it. And then number 3 and 4 was its proximity to the strong memorial of play and the Philharmonics Orchestra. She loved all these things for those reasons, and also the big thing was there's those small little hidden things that no one talks about, those little hidden places. It's always got something going on too. That's one of the things that she loved about Rochester, and said, hey, listen, I love it here because it's always something to do, and I feel like every weekend I have somewhere to go. You're not going to get that in most major cities. And in most major cities, you're not going to be able to make friends as easily as you can in Rochester either. One of the big reasons why I love living in Rochester so much is the fact that our community is truly that, a community. The fact that we have almost a 30 to 35% higher community engagement rate than the entire national average. Wow. See, when I first came to this country, I was actually living in a duplex. We had another Nepali residents living on the downside, and we were living on the top side. We came here, I think, September 11th, 2008, or it was September 12th, 2008. One of the big things for us that we absolutely was profounded by was how they invited us for dinner and said, hey, listen, you guys don't have blankets, and here's they are. They give us food, and they give us blankets. That was awesome. And here's the big thing. That's just Rochester for you. Like, that's the community as a whole. Now, I may be biased because obviously they were Nepali and we were Nepali, but at the same time, I don't think I am. Because everyone that I know says something similar in nature. Oh, there's pockets of crime. There's pockets of crime everywhere. But when you find a good neighborhood and you find that area where you truly get to call your neighbors your friend, that's when you get those thank you texts. That's what makes me happy. One of the big things a lot of people ask us question about is the educational scene. And that's super duper important. You see from higher education like RIT, MCC, U of R, SUNY Brockport, and everything else in between, you've got that taken care of. We're talking about some of the best schools and the best programs in the entire nation. Focus on maybe the high school and middle school graduational sectors, and you've got suburban areas that are absolutely kickers. Pittsford is some of the highest ranked in the entire country. You've got McQuaid, you've got Harley, you've also got Allendale in close enough proximity that all of those things people can actually go enjoy the activities, and ultimately your kids can be kids and they can have friends. From public schools and private schools and everything else in between, you've actually got a location where you don't have to worry about, hey, are they going to get the best education, because you know you've got that taken care of. But let's talk about healthcare as well. One of the big things about Rochester that I absolutely love is we've got healthcare in the back. The University of Rochester is a top 20 medicine of study in the entire country. The Rochester Regional Health has comprehensive studies, and medicine actually costs 15 to 20% cheaper in Rochester compared to its other northeastern buddies. So let's say you're on the older side, or you've got older parents, or you're just worried about your kids, or you're worried about your health. Just understand that you got that taken care of here in Rochester. And one of the big things, let's say you want to get out of Rochester, is it's a proximity zone. On average, it takes me between 15 and 20 minutes to get from point A to point B in anywhere in Rochester. We've got more and more international flights that are coming here. We're about an hour and a half away from Buffalo and Syracuse, around 3 hours away from Toronto, 6 hours away from New York City, Boston, and Philadelphia. We are, as I like to call it, the Goldilocks zone of urban convenience. We're exactly where we want to be. And let me tell you, if you're thinking about buying a house or even potentially selling a house in the future, this is where you want to be. With the Micron project happening just about 45 minutes to the east side of us, with Buffalo always growing, and with all of that conjecting here in Rochester, it makes sense why the property values are always on the rise at such a rapid pace. So listen, if you love a strong sense of community, you want pride within where you live, but you're also okay with waiting a few months and ultimately going through the hassle of purchasing property, and I say hassle because it takes a while right now, then Rochester is the place for you. If you want a bigger community, you want a bigger neighborhood, and you want to buy a house now, unless you're cash, Rochester might be not the place for you. Line is this: Rochester offers an amazing blend of urban setting and suburban amenities. I think it's the perfect fit for a lot of people. And listen, if you're thinking about making that move to Rochester, all of our information is in the link down below. We'd love the opportunity to help you make Rochester home. I actually did an entire video on the pros and cons of living in Rochester in 2025. I'm gonna put that video right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.